Hello and welcome back to the Week in the Life series. This is episode 25 and I'm Kieran O'Connor. Today we've got no time to waste on a long introduction because we are at GITEX, the world's largest AI, tech and investor event here in Dubai, and we're at the World Trade Center. Today we're going to be focused on speaking to as many people as we can, getting some interviews with entrepreneurs, founders, executives. Hopefully we can get some gems for you guys watching this. Let's see what we can get.
10 toes down in my B22s. Young ST hit the T and he blew. Pack came in, disappeared like the moose. Yeah, I'm at the mud, yeah, I'm really the truth. 10 toes down in his Christians yours. They know me by my real name in the store.
Right, here for our first interview. Today we are with Marco. Marco, please explain who you are and what problem does your business solve?
So my name is Marco. I'm the managing director of EBM Pubs Middle East. So basically we supply components to the industry, especially in the air conditioning and for data centers. And what we try to do is to sell a little bit of sustainability, because basically, especially here in the region, people try to pay the less possible for trying to get the best components, but it doesn't work like that. So people still need to be convinced to pay a little bit more to get the right product.
Everyone talks about what AI can do for a business. It can solve lots of problems. Is there any problems in your industry that AI cannot solve yet?
We're trying with AI to understand how our products won't fail, or at least to give a little bit, it's going to fail in 1 week or 2 weeks. That's what we're trying to use with AI right now.
And my final question, what do you think of AI for the next 12 to 24 months in your industry? Where do you see it going?
Well, I don't think there's something that AI can solve. We understand that AI can be a tremendous help sorting out the cost of the product, that we still think we can get into a better level, because we are the most expensive component in the market. We're like a Ferrari. So trying to understand with a lot of suppliers how the cost can supply the best product, but the customer can also pay a little bit less than what they should pay for our component.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Every single stand is absolutely rammed. People doing business, people talking. It's hard to get in, but still going to get a few more, see what we can do. Today we are outside the roller stand and we are joined by Igor. He's going to tell us exactly what he does within the company and the problem that the company solves.
I'm Igor from Rolla, Chief Revenue Officer, basically in charge for spreading the word about Rolla. And what is Rolla? Rolla is a health and fitness application that is B2B and it's white labels. We have our own wearable and we have our own app. And both of those things combine in a very nice way. It helps people go to their lifelong goals, to their important goals of, reducing stress, increasing better sleep, reducing weight or something like that. It knows all about them. We have a band that is built for 24/7 wear, that it's 8 days battery. So you put it on and you forget you have it. It's light, it's on the market, you don't feel you have it on your hand. What's special about us is our business model and how we approach the market. We are, as I said, B2B. So basically we sell to our ideal customer profiles are health insurance, big gym chains, wellness benefit providers, but basically anybody that would like to have their own app and position itself towards the market as a partner in health, or somebody that wants to help their members, I would say, live better, increase their well-being and wellness in that way. It's very important that it's one-time price. So basically, we sell it for 70 euros, which is one-time price. You get the band with the warranty, with the best sensors, with everything I said, and a lifetime access to the app. And then the businesses basically resell it for a price, or decide what to do. Maybe if they have some premium clients or something like that, they gift it. It's also a very nice opportunity. Or if, let's say, health insurance company is kind of included in their health insurance because it reduces claims, people moving more, sleeping better, don't go to hospital that much.
It's very interesting that you do B2B rather than B2C, but I'm really interested in the AI. I'm sure there's lots of AI throughout this platform, which helps it. Is there anything that AI can't do within your business industry at the minute?
We grab things from the physical world, we pull them inside the digital world. And then we do a lot of things with it, and we try to make it simple and bring it to the client with the motivation, with the insights, and with everything that's inside. What it cannot do, of course, is to make you do those things. What it can suggest you very nicely, do this walk today, do this activity today, but it cannot. You got to do it. So it still didn't enter our minds, let's say.
And my final question: what's the one reason from the companies that you've onboarded so far? What's the one reason that they have decided to partner and use Roller? Why are they doing it?
I would say operating value of Rolla. It's no hassle. We do onboarding, we can do logistics if you want, we do support. Basically what you have is an app in your name and a revenue stream if you want it, and positioning yourself on the market like nobody's positioning themselves today. So it's hassle-free, we do all the heavy work. I have bags under my eyes as you see, but we do the heavy work and you just pick up the cream.
Incredible. Thank you very much for your time. I'm here with Marcus today, and we're going to be talking about the product that he's been building. Skylar's been speaking to Einstein over there, an incredible AI avatar. Marcus is going to tell us all about it. So, Marcus, tell us who you are and what you've been building.
So hi, I'm Marcus. Yes, I'm Professor of Computer Science at ETH Zurich. I'm also happen to be the Chief Scientist of the Walt Disney Studios. And as part of my role at Disney, I got a lot of experience with photoreal digital humans. And it's all about bringing digital characters, believable, authentic digital characters to life with artificial intelligence. We started out with Einstein, who was the most famous student of all time at ETH. Brought him back to life. It's a stylized character. It's not for the real, but it knows a lot about the real Einstein, and you can ask it any question, and it will give you an answer to anything in a very authentic and in character kind of way.
Skylar was speaking to Einstein over there, and it was very realistic. It was very engaging. Tell us about behind the scenes. How long would it take to create someone like Einstein and curate all of his knowledge so it's available to speak accurately?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, this has been a research project, so we had a lot of students working on it. Einstein has also emotion, he has memory, he recognizes you, he has computer vision built in, and so forth and so on. So it's a very complex platform, and we've been working on it for many years. Now, if you tell me to create new characters, I would say it takes you 6 months.
Wow, okay. I'm very curious. I know it's been a research project. Where do you see this being used in the business world?
We believe that the market potential for digital characters is tremendous. So based on a generic platform, imagine education. You have your favorite personal character to teach your child, your personal digital assistant that accompanies you every day in everyday life, or even entertainment, interactive entertainment experiences in a game type environment. So that the market potential is tremendous, and it goes all the way to digital immortality, literally. How do we leave something for future generations about ourselves?
Wow, and that's the interview done. Okay, so the time is 10 to 2. We just had a little coffee to break up the day. 3 interviews so far. This event is nothing short of overwhelming. There's every country you can imagine here. Everyone is promoting that their technology that they've got, whether it's software and it's hardware. Skylar, how's your day so far?
Manic and stimulating.
Absolutely incredible. I can't even believe the size of it. I don't even know if we've walked around the whole thing yet. But we're going to try and get some more interviews now, try and get some hidden gems and find out what different countries are building. Let's go.
Our friend go for the blog, Susan dripping. Me and bro in the M-way doing mileage, we've been missing. Now she ain't calling you, rude boy, it's me that she missing. Book a flight, now I'm missing.
So I'm back at the apartment after a very busy and exhausting day, both mentally and physically. We were at the GITEX event for around 4.5 hours. We managed to get 3 pretty good interviews, some interesting people there. A couple of people said no, but we're going back tomorrow. I've set myself a goal of 10 interviews this week. I doubt they'll all be in this Week in the Life series, but we're going to get 10, hopefully do a separate clip of what it was like to attend GITEX. But the time is 7 p.m. and I've got a meeting with an American CFO for a SaaS company that we've worked with before. We're looking to onboard a new data hire. Originally, this person was in the US, but they're now bringing this hire to the UK because that person is leaving and it's more cost effective. We're probably going to save them around £20,000 to £25,000 on the base salary, but still keep the quality of the candidate high. So let's see how it goes. Hopefully we onboard a new vacancy and that'll keep me busy over the next couple of days. So what sort of technical ability are you hoping for this person to have? Like, is there any key things? I know you mentioned Power BI there, SQL I imagine as well, but is there anything else? Sure, yeah, fine. So in terms of like the ideal background, would it be beneficial for someone to come into this business with experience doing something similar within a software company, like ideally SaaS? Cool. So in terms of like reporting into, who will this person speak to on a regular basis? So by the sounds of it, we don't and we can't have someone who is an all-out data geek, very good at the job, but doesn't really want to speak to anyone. And they just want to sit in the background. They have to be willing to talk about what they're doing to non-technical people as well. So what are the working hours going to be then? If they're going to be speaking with you regularly, speaking with the sales team, which I assume are in the US, what's going to be typical working hours then? That's the same in the UK for the tech team. It's always been like that, and it's great. I always try and work out what the big selling point is to why someone's going to take this opportunity, right? And it comes down to one of three things. Normally, it's more autonomy, like more decision making, which by the sounds of it, they've got here. Secondly, it's salary, like a higher salary, but we don't always want to sell on that because that quickly changes after 6 to 12 months. You know, the salary is great on day one. And then it's future progression. So with it being quite entrepreneurial, you said, in this position and speaking directly to you, doesn't sound like there's many other people around. Let's imagine they're doing very, very well in 12, 18 months. What's next for them? I'm just thinking then from a sourcing perspective, potentially someone who's in a small team of like 2 or 3 doing something similar but wants to do more, you know, who's done something like this and can step up and take on full responsibility might be okay. But then I'm also thinking someone who's done this previously from the start and then also maybe, you know, got to the end of the journey. Now it's a bit stagnant, everything's clean, and you know, things are a little bit more simple now and wants to do that again. So there's a couple of backgrounds that I'm thinking. What are you expecting to pay for this? Have you got an idea on UK salaries? So because of the complexities of the importance of different parts, I'm going to need to do some market research. But what you said there, that's going to be too high. We don't need to go that high. That's 101,000. My first thought was around 65 to 70. That's my first thought based on what you said. But I would leave 10% each side. So we could flex up to 80. We could go down as low as 55. We're really not going to get anyone below 55,000 GBP for this one. So just say 55 to 80 is very, very realistic. Yeah, so it's a cost saving as well, which is always a bonus. What's the interview process? Will there be any presentations, anything that they'll have to do physically? Sounds good. When's the start date? As soon as possible, right? So for this role, you're probably going to have to just assume that it'll be a 1-month notice period. I really don't think we'll find too many on a 3-month, but that could happen. That said, I'll try and prioritize 1-month notice periods, unless we find someone so incredible that they're on a 3-month. Quite obviously, I will just share them with you and you can make that decision. But let's say 1 month from now. I never like to go more than 4 profiles, really. We'll say 3 or 4. For that, I've got to speak to probably 4 times that, so like 16 people. Shorten it down to 10, shorten it down to the final 3 or 4 who get sent. And ideally, they'll all be 8, 9 out of 10, you know, we can tick all the boxes, but if not, we'll work backwards in order of importance. But these are going to be the strongest profiles that we can find. If you wouldn't mind booking that in, that would be very, very helpful. But the job description, if you could send that today, I'll start working on it tonight. That'd be great. We've covered the salary, we've covered everything else. Cool. I think any last questions from you? Have I missed anything? No problem. I'll wait for the job description. I'll speak to you on Wednesday, and then you'll hear from me at Friday at 3 p.m. Speak soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll tell you what, today has got the potential to be a very, very good day. Actually, scrap that. Today is going to be a good day, and I'll tell you why. Not only did we pick up a new vacancy yesterday, which I've been working on this morning, today I am at Dubai Harbour. Take a look behind me. You can see how beautiful it is down here. Very, very hot. And I'm 45 minutes early to our lunch with an exited founder, now an entrepreneur, previously an entrepreneur, now invests and has a portfolio of about 4 or 5 companies. One who has just gone through an absolutely huge Series A. And this was an introduction by a mutual contact. We're going to the Observatory Lounge here in Dubai Harbour, 52 floors up. Looks beautiful. No talk about recruitment, but hopefully you can pass on some advice. It's always good to make new contacts as well. Outside of that, I've got 2 new business meetings. Regardless of if I bring on the new business, it's good to have 2 new business meetings, both with the CEOs, talking about the upcoming recruitment. The agenda for the meeting is to talk about some recruitment. We've spoken 3 or 4 times, so I am expecting it. But regardless, I think a new business lunch, hopefully attending GITEX again to get some more interviews, and 2 potential new business opportunities on top of the one yesterday. That's a good day in itself.
I had reasonable doubt as my intro. We swing around with illmatic, say you involved. Heard they ran off on the plug by the 10th load. All the stress why I need my money tenfold. I took a chapter out the mob page.
Hello, how are you? I'm very good, thank you. This is the guy you spoke very highly about over dinner. No, this is legit. Yeah, I've just finished a lunch with a connection, and I thought I'd set up here. I'm actually here for the GITEX event, which is the largest tech and AI event in the world. Some of the innovation here from
self-driving cars, AI contact lenses, AI assistant robots, you name it, it's here. It's great. But what about you? Anyway, how's the journey been over the last however many weeks since we met at dinner? I think I mentioned to you the company we helped out most recently, they expected it to go in November last year. That was when we made their first hire. And it only went through around 6 weeks ago. So that was like a whole 10-month process, already spending the money, and it's so challenging for them. So your process has actually been a little bit quicker than theirs. So whatever you're doing is doing right. I hear you on all of that, by the way. And I often hear, once the money lands, it's almost like an anticlimax, you know? It's, oh, this was it, now I've got to spend the money to actually make more money. And all that hard work, all that effort mentally and physically has gone in, and you know, sometimes it can be a little bit underwhelming. Yeah, the startup, I think I mentioned before, that's all we do. You know, we only work with a smaller company, so that side of things is fine in terms of like wearing different hats. You know, we that's where we make our money, is finding those people. So they're going to be managing the relationship, but then also speaking to the customers, clients that you've got as well to make sure these pilots go well. Do they have to be on site for these? Okay, I think I'm nearly there. So just tell me like the ideal background, like 10-10, perfect person, and I can work back from there in my head. So just tell me everything. The culture side of things, without blowing my drum, I think that's what we're good at. I don't know if you've seen the video testimonial that we shared previously with 16 hires, 9 months. Honestly, it was no easy task. That review is glowing. Hardest thing was culture, and it really is. So but that's what we focus on more. And I like to think we get that accurate on the first hire. We'll do our very best, on the first submissions, but it might take a couple to get going. So culture side, I get it. Sounds like communication is very, very important here. You know, you'd rather take someone who's an excellent communicator, someone who can listen, someone who can actually understand people, rather than industry experience. If you can get both, then great. But the communication side is vital. Someone proactive, someone curious as well, especially if they're going to be on site and, you know, assessing if these pilots are working. They've got to be uncovering questions which might not be easily explained or easily said to them. They've got to go digging for that information. These types of roles are suitable to people who have that entrepreneurial streak in them, you know, we either look at someone who's worked in a slightly larger company, maybe has a small team around them and, you know, really wants to do more but they can't, or there's someone who has worked in a very similar environment, startup, done it before, they want to go back to 0 to 1 rather than 1 to 10. So those are the two options we look at. Accountability, very, very true. So essentially, you want these people to tell you more than what you tell them. You've got to come with solutions, right? And this is the people that thrive in a startup where you don't just come with problem after problem, you know, and that's a special type of person, it really is. Have you got an idea of what you want to pay this person? I'm trying to work it out in my head. There's a few different hats. This is quite complex. So I really haven't got a figure off the top of my head, but I can work it out. What have you got in mind? First number I was thinking of is 65, so we're there or thereabouts. Is this a remote position? And the travel, am I right in saying most of your work is European based? So 20% of, are we talking 20% of the year or 20% of the month? I think I mentioned you before, but we've got customer success in the business as well now. So like our post offer, you know, right from them working their notice up to the first day, first week, well up to month 3, if you like, you get to speak to both you and the new employee. We get to speak to Skylar, who works in customer success. So we help as much as possible post offer. How are you going to assess this person? What's the interview process, considering this is the first hire? So ideally, 2 stages, and is it going to be mostly verbal questions, or is there going to be any sort of physical presentation, exercise, something like that? I don't know if it would work in this scenario, but like role play and a like physical scenario rather than verbal scenario. I'm just thinking from a going to site perspective. I'm trying to work out how it would work, but I always think it's best in complex hires like this, you know, trying to see how they think on their feet, not just in verbal format. You know, I don't know how you can position that, but if you can do something physical, which is not just a presentation, you know, you kind of need to interact with them live. I think that's always good. Rather than 2 interviews of just verbal questions, because we both know someone could ace verbal questions. I've seen it many, many times, and then not perform in a role, and vice versa. Someone might be put on the spot. But I think verbal and non-verbal, or something physical, which also shows the way that they interact, I think that might be a suggestion. Sales hires, there's always a presentation. There's always we're doing one in the US, so they're in a product demonstration, so they've got to do an actual demonstration of the product to the CEO. So I think something like that is going to be good, but you just need to work out how it's going to work on your side. I always have to work back from the start date, you know, because then I can design an interview process. I can tell you how long it's going to take me to find the people. So considering you Haven't quite got the money, but it's coming. When's the ideal start date? Well, we'll prioritise 1 month. We can always do that because that's very, very popular with startups. But it's best to plan for 3 months for that ideal person. You know, if someone's at maybe a direct competitor or certainly industry experience, you know, at the latest it's going to be January on a best case scenario. Is December going to be realistic? In terms of if I can find someone, would you onboard someone in December? Yeah. We have to sell on future opportunity. We simply have to. If we sell on salary, that person will just chase salary elsewhere. And chances are we're probably there or thereabouts for this person. It's not going to be a huge increase. Whilst I can do my best at selling on future opportunity, once they get into the interview process with you, we need to paint a picture of what they're going to be doing in 6 to 18 months. You know, we need to talk about the optimistic chances of, or realistic even, things going well and where this person will end up. Because no one moves job for day 1 and day 30. Like, you know, that goes pretty quickly. We need to talk about year 2. Before they even start, they need to know year 2 plans and how they play into that. Well, I'm going to have my work cut out here, lads. This is a challenging but exciting opportunity. It really is. And I can now see the person that we're looking for. It's just finding them. And there's people out there, but then it's just, is that person open to something as exciting as what we appear to be as exciting? I've just got to paint that picture to them. And that's where my creative writing will come in. And with the job description, I'll start telling a story to attract the right people, yeah. There's so many variables there, right? Yeah, it sounds small, but someone might be uniquely interested in agriculture or lighting or this space. And then all of a sudden, a passion is ignited into what they do as products in general. And I hate to sound like a salesman here, but like we genuinely, on any of the portfolio, there hasn't gone one role that's been unfilled, like not one. And we've done 16 hires in 9 months with 2 founding engineers, 2 founding AI engineers, built a sales team from scratch, like literally from scratch. So I don't even think we're going to struggle. It just might be, like we've spoken about, the ideal 10-10 candidate who ticks all the boxes. I've got a feeling we'll probably have to flex on one of them. But what I'm really, really going to focus on is just the person. So, you know, have they got something about them? Do they actually want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves? Can they communicate well? And like you said, you can teach the industry knowledge. And if someone's curious, if someone can pick it up quickly, you know, these are people that do well in a startup, rather than someone who's a 10-10 who, you know, thinks they know it all. But that's not what we're looking for. Are you looking for me to start this week? Cool. So by Friday. There's no rush my side. So you make sure it's right for you. You make sure the time's ready. And then once it is ready, all you've got to do is turn up for the interviews. Everything else is taken care of pre-offer, post-offer. So I hope Friday goes well. It's very, very nice. I'm going to head over to GITEX now and try and get some more face time with some startups. Pleasure, lads. Speak soon. Bye-bye.
I've just set myself up in the apartment for the second new business meeting of the day. I've done 3 new business meetings this week and I've done a different location every single time. So you're gonna have to bear with me. I'm trialing out which spot is best. Although I think the restaurant that I was at earlier is definitely the best so far. Truthfully, I'm not sure how this call is going to go. So I'm speaking to the CFO who I spoke to around 3 weeks ago. They posted the advert on LinkedIn. Like most startups, they want to see if they can attract the right talent before working with an agency. This call was pre-scheduled 3 weeks ago to see if the applicants have been any good and then see if they want us to come on board and help out with their first founding sales hire as a new VC-backed startup. Let's see how we do. Good afternoon. I'm in Dubai, yeah. The time right now is 6 p.m. We're 3 hours different, soon to be 4 hours difference, yeah. That was today, actually. That was with a mutual connection of ours. So he's an investor, exit founder, now sits on the board of a few companies. And yeah, 2 hours. And I really mean those posts about getting in front of people and, you know, sitting down for lunch for 2 hours versus if location makes it doable, you just learn so much more. It's so much more valuable, I think. So it was a great time. What about you? What's been going over the last few weeks? Tell me, I'm sure it's been busy. Sounds very busy, yeah. I definitely agree, by the way, the networking events like that, as an exhibitor, they're so good in the early days to get traction and face-to-face with people that, you know, could be game-changing. But if not, it's, you know, certainly nice to get in front of people and just speak to people about the product. You posted the advert, I did see it. It was quite a good advert, actually. Lots of great points in there about the founding team, the money. It was actually really good, yeah. So I'm not surprised that you had a lot of applicants because I did check it. Yeah, sure. So I appreciate you thinking of me again. And it's very interesting, actually. I had this conversation earlier. It's always 10%. Whatever the applicants are, it almost always goes down to 10% are suitable for an interview. And then usually 10% of those maybe to second stage. I hear it all the time. It's the same with the stuff we do. So interestingly enough, you were about 8% there. So I'll just speak openly. I'm sure you don't mind that. We both talk to each other directly. So we're pretty busy, which is great. And
an opportunity like this, I would obviously like to take on myself rather than delegate to any of the team. The difficulty with what you mentioned there would be just my time capacity to really invest what I know it needs if I haven't got 100% commitment. For example, when we speak about, we've got a couple of vacancies right now, which you might be aware of, but we're the only agency, we've got full buy-in, feedback time, turnaround time is 24 hours, and it works pretty well. The other companies that we are working with at the minute, like some are retained, which is fine. We wouldn't look at retained straight away on this, but the projects that we take on, which I know I don't have 100% chance of bringing revenue in, because ultimately I can work my arse off for a couple of weeks, and if there's not that buy-in, then it's quite frustrating for me, and I've learned that, and it's just not the way that I want to do it. I'd like to do my best work. So I would take it on, but I'd kind of need a lot of commitment. So it's up to you. I'm pushing it back to you. If you think you want to see those 8 interviews, I respect that. We can maybe pause for 2 weeks, but if you want to go all in, I can go all in, but I'm all or nothing. No rush from my side. We're pretty busy at the minute. Let's put something in for 2-3 weeks' time, and we can share a story about what's happened there. That's fine. I agree. I completely agree. And like I said, if you do hire from those, that's a great result. First advert posted, made a hire within what would be maybe 3 to 4 weeks, perhaps 5 weeks. I think that's a great result. Cardiff is a fairly small place. Like London is small in comparison, but Cardiff is very small. And whether it's the leadership hire that we're looking at right now or the senior engineer, people have noticed this. People who haven't interacted with the business are noticing this, and it's really hard to attract people based on what they hear. Once they've heard something, once they see something, it's very difficult to change their opinion. So as the year's gone on, I've been doing more work in Europe and US than the UK, mainly from a fee perspective. It's actually more appealing. And I thought, you know what, I'll try a holiday here and there. And this is the longest period I've done, but we're working remotely and I'm time zoned up, and it's pretty good. Yeah. I'm looking at the diary now. 1, 2, 3 would be the first week of November. Oh yeah, 3 p.m. your time. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so 6 p.m. my time. Should we go for that? Good luck with the other interviews, and I will speak to you soon. Thanks, man.
We are back at GITEX for day 3. This is our second day at the event. The day is Wednesday, and the time is 9:30. Visitors aren't allowed in until 10 a.m, so we've got 20 minutes to try and find a few interviews. You did not think that we were just going to get one day's content and only a few interviews. Today, we're going to be trying to speak to as many people from as many different countries as we can to show you exactly what's being built in the world. Let's see how many we can get today. Today we are in the Georgia stand, the scale up from Georgia, and we are here with Zaza. He's going to tell us who he is and what part he plays in this organization here.
Hello, Karim. Thanks for having me here. So we are from Georgia, as you already saw. We are Syntax, and we are one of the company who Startup in Georgia supports to do business here in UA and in Georgia as well. Because we are from Georgia, and I believe that this organization supports many startups and many organizations who is willing to do a business in Georgia.
So can you tell us, why would a company want to come to Georgia and build a company?
I think ecosystem in Georgia is really attracting, because if you want to start a business in Georgia, you need just one day to open an account or to have a bank account and register business, and the process is really easy. On the other hand, there are huge infrastructure and ecosystem for IT people and IT organizations to have their own working space, tech parks where they can go and work and implement their IT services.
And you were saying this is backed by the Georgian government.
Yeah, Startup in Georgia is under government of Georgia, and government of Georgia supports organizations and startups to do business.
It's great to see the government involved in trying to help companies out. Yeah. My last question, tell me what the tech market is like right now in terms of like AI. It's very, very prevalent. Tell us about the tech market for anyone that doesn't have a clue.
Yeah, I think the market needs to be more matured, and there's huge opportunities. So what I can say that government of Georgia and Startup in Georgia supports research and development process in AI, and they fund and grant startups to do a business in Georgia. So this is a great opportunity, and everyone who is willing to come and work, please try how we work. And from Georgia, you can work everywhere. It's AI and IT era, and you can reach any market from there.
So if anyone's looking to set up a business in Georgia, Zaza's the man to come and speak to you today at GITEX. We are at the Turkey stand here with Murat, and he's going to tell us exactly what it's like to do business in Turkey and why you should invest in Turkey. So Murat, tell us who you are and what you do for work.
My name is Murat Nail Erenay. I am the founder and owner of PIA, People in Action. and we are a company that was born in about 15 years ago. We are purely in technology, system integration, when it comes to digital transformation as well as data transformation, which is becoming, one of the cornerstone of, what we'll do in the next 20 years probably.
For people watching this, they probably don't have an idea of what it's like to either have a business in Turkey or invest in Turkey. So why would someone want to invest in Turkey?
Turkey is a young country, so we have a lot of good universities, and you can find people easily who could do international business or business development or even software development. So opening up a place in Turkey, based in Turkey, would be ideal. The second thing is that Turkey is very connected. So we are sitting in between Middle East and Europe. Geographically, it's well situated. And the economies are becoming international as we speak. I think Turkey is going to pose a good potential for business growth.
Off camera, we were speaking about some growth hubs. I think you mentioned there's been 4 unicorns in Turkey. What is it like for maybe a tech startup or an early stage tech company in Turkey with the ecosystem? So thinking from the government, the growth hubs that you spoke about, what is it like?
Turkey is very much connected. All these hubs that we had talked about, there are 4 or 5 of them, each having less than 100 innovation companies, and with the government support subsidizing some of the costs, we try to grow in a certain degree in Turkey. But then all these hubs are connected to some hub internationally, and you have path to go outside. And there's a lot of companies who have done that. As much as I know, there's more than 4 or 5 unicorns already. So it is possible to start in Turkey and make your way into different locations. So I would highly recommend to, before making a decision anywhere else, come and visit Turkey.
If anyone's looking to start a business, Turkey definitely has to be on your consideration now. Thank you very much, Murat.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right now, we're at the Lagos stand, who are representing Nigeria. I'm here with Lamri. Yes. He's going to tell us exactly what he's building and why you should invest in Nigeria if you're looking to start a company. Please tell me who you are and what your company is.
My longer name is Olarewa Jogunkunle, right? I'm a serial entrepreneur. My first business is about 15 years old. In recent times, about 2-3 years ago, it hit me that there's a bigger problem than the technology I'm trying to provide to the Nigerian market, and that's infrastructure. And I had to solve the problem from the roots. Recently, we launched a new subsidiary of the group, so it's a group of companies. So we play in the tech space, media, real estate, and energy now. And why we came up to the energy was to solve the root problem, the root infrastructure problem in the Nigerian ecosystem. And that's why I'm here, presenting our new product, an AI-powered IoT device, making critical decisions for business owners in cost of energy and managing energy sources.
For anyone that has not been to Nigeria, what is it like to build a tech company in Nigeria?
Building a tech company in Nigeria is fantastic, especially if you are around the commercial and the political capital, like Lagos, Port Harcourt. Lagos is the most suitable, and there are several reasons. Lagos is the major international gateway into Nigeria. So in terms of logistics and moving in and out, it's perfect. Lagos is the only major state in Nigeria that has a free zone. So you as a foreign entity, you can come in tax-free, set up in the free zone area of Lagos State, which is perfect. Lagos has the massive population, just a small strip of land with over 22 million people. So it's so congested that you would always have a customer no matter what your product is, especially if you're good at selling. And furthermore, Lagos has a massive population of young persons. So if your market is selling technology, definitely your major key stake customers would be younger generation, 18 to 25. You can only find that bunch of people majorly in Lagos, and that's most likely the biggest in Africa. And lastly, cost of production, cost of running business is way lower in Lagos.
Lagos sounds like the place to be. I guess my final question is, there's going to be a lot of entrepreneurs here, maybe potential investors who are watching this, and they might be thinking, why would I want to invest in Lagos? You mentioned there's a tax-free zone, a free zone, which is fantastic. What else is there in terms of like an ecosystem? Do the government help at all? Is there any growth hubs that would help an early stage tech company start in Lagos?
So there are a lot of tech companies in Lagos, and especially in the last decade, there's been a major tech boom in Lagos. We have about 2 or 3 unicorns currently coming out of Lagos. There are several reasons why an investor should consider coming to Lagos. First of all, you get more value for money. Due to the exchange rate and value, you would have more impacts bringing the same funds to Lagos compared to taking other countries. And next, everybody who is in reality, who is in touch with reality, knows that it's time for Africa, because Africa is the bedrock of resources powered in the world now in terms of human resources, in terms of raw materials, everything you need to build any kind of instruments, civilization is all domiciled in Africa now. And in recent times, Africa is waking up to their reality and trying to control the outflow of these resources. So if you want to edge against the future, it's best to start planning in Africa. And the biggest economy in Africa definitely is Nigeria, and the biggest economy in Nigeria is Lagos. So you just have to be in Lagos, and the government is very, very open to investors now. You see things like some kind of waivers, some kind of ease of doing business, a whole lot of parastatals within a government entity trying to make sure that investments come in and they come in to get more value. So Lagos is the perfect place to be investing now.
That might be the best one yet, and I think if anyone's considering starting a business anywhere, Lagos has to be on the cards now.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time, Larry. What a week. We came here to Dubai to land and expand, and I think we've done exactly that this week. I'm going to try and recap. It's been so busy, we didn't actually record on Thursday. We did a little bit today, but that's going to be in some bonus content. So what's been going on? Well, we've been to GITEX, the world's largest startup AI and investor event, which was hosted here in Dubai in the World Trade Center. We promised 10 interviews and we got 10 interviews. There's only 6 in this video, and that's because there's going to be a bonus video coming soon where we show all 10, and that's going to be exclusively about the GITEX event. Outside of that, right, I'm going to have to use some memory here. I went for 2 lunches. Those 2 lunches were with 2 investor friends. We spoke about everything from investments to technology to startups. I also went for 2 coffees with 2 new introductions as well. Somehow, in between GITEX and all of that, I managed another networking event. You might have guessed, I'm absolutely exhausted this week. And in between that, I've actually been doing some recruitment. So we managed to organise 8 interviews in total, 2 final stages. And whilst we were hopeful for an offer today, it looks like that's being pushed early into next week. So hopefully next week's video might get off to an absolute banger with an early deal. And to stay on the recruitment topic, outside of all those interviews and sourcing for candidates, we actually had 3 new business meetings, which you would have seen all live in action. We actually onboarded 1 new vacancy when speaking to a US-based CFO. The second has been pushed back by a week until they actually get confirmation of their investment. And the third we've put on pause for the next 2 to 3 weeks while they review the LinkedIn applicants that they've had on their vacancy. But I've got no doubt that will come in the next couple of weeks. If you've watched This Week in the Life, you've been part of history. This is exactly how you land and expand in Dubai. And we're not slowing down. Next week, we've got an absolutely jam-packed week, but not as much networking. It's going to be lots of recruitment, lots of new business meetings, and hopefully a few deals. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.
Run through 5, won't know what I expected this week. I'm alive, that's why I expected this week.